From the Rancocas Valley Sports Complex in the heart of East Hampton, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting opens up our week with non-conference baseball between two teams you could say are red hot. It's the Kingsway Dragons and the Rancocas Valley Red Devils. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Rock Roberson on the call this afternoon. We've had some scattered showers all day, but we're ready to play baseball here in East Hampton. These are two teams that Kingsway has won their last 6 straight. Rancocas Valley's won their last 5 straight. And when these two played last year around this time, Kingsway won 14-4. But given the nature of these two teams, it looks like today's game should be a competitive matchup.
Yeah, I agree. These two teams are always competitive. I mean, the last time these two teams were on DWB, they were against each other in boys basketball. That was a really tight boys basketball playoff game. These two schools are always competitive, and it's always great to see them in action.
Not to mention a great pitching matchup this afternoon. Miles Pezzicola for the Dragons. It'll be Henry Adams, who has struggled a little bit this year, but he's a great fundamental pitcher. He's somebody, when he's got his stuff, he's going to have a good night. And he's facing a very tough lineup in Kingsway, which has several Division I commits on the table. For Kingsway, though, they've won their last 6 straight, including some wins over some very powerful programs. They crossed over the bridge to go to Philly. They beat Newman Goretti, and they also picked up some big wins over Delsey, Pennsville, and Williamstown this past week as well. And while these two teams will go their separate ways, they should be in for a really fun matchup this afternoon. My player to watch for Rancocas Valley is probably going to be Jalen Alvarez. He's had a great start to his year. He's batting .522 at-bats. He's had 11 hits, 8 RBIs, and he's batting at the top of the order for the Red Devils.
Yeah, and don't doubt his fielding either. In the first pitch against Moorestown, Jalen Alvarez, playing right field, made a diving catch on the first pitch of the game in what would be a 3-1 win for RV. Eddie Ruminski, complete game. And speaking of complete games, we have seen a lot of them for this RV team. If you look at the averages so far, you'll think they're an offensive team, but we've had a lot of low-scoring games here at RV as well. We had a 4-3 game against Cherokee where Chase Logue threw the whole game, 106 pitches last Tuesday. And we also had a 3-1 win against Moorestown for RV where Eddie Ruminski threw the whole game. Paul VI, even though the score was 10-6, Henry Adams in the first inning, he allowed 4 earned runs, but he still did well hitting, and that's also a crucial point. He's going to remain in the lineup if he gets out. So keep an eye on the pitching for RV.
Well, that'll be all for us now. They're taking the field now, and they're just about to get started, so we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back from Rancocas Valley. Your starter this afternoon. We'll have a quick introduction for him. It will be Henry Adams, 8.4 ERA in 5 innings, 1 walk, 4 Ks. And he's going to be in for a treat this afternoon against the Kingsway Dragons, traveling up from Woolwich Township as the first pitch of the game is a called strike. And it's 0-1 to their leadoff man in Braden Thorpe, Thorpe, a commit to Rowan College of South Jersey, announced that just a few days ago as the 0-1. That one's high. Thorpe, Taylor, and Shields first 3 for Kingsway. It's 9-2 coming into this game. Their 2 losses came to some of the top teams in South Jersey. Gloucester Catholic back on April the 1st, and Clearview on April the 9th. As we said, they've won their last 6 straight. As that one's a line drive caught at first base, and that's out number 1 as RV brings that one down. Talking about some good defense to open up the game, and you see it right there. As we'll get your starting lineup on the way for the Dragons, led by Bill Alvaro. He's got Logan Taylor at short in the 2 slot, Kyle Shields in right field. A.J. Ward is the first baseman, Ashton Ford is the catcher. Nate Bott, the commit to Delaware, is in the 6th slot. Austin Schmidt, 7th in left field. Christian Finelli in center. And Braden Bell is your third baseman. Miles Pezzicola is your pitcher. So here's Logan Shields after the line out to first base. 1-0. He's hit well out towards center field. Moving over, and he'll make that catch for out number 2. And it'll be Kyle Shields, the batter now. As well, you don't have Jake Bartlett out in center field anymore, but seems like RV didn't seem to need him to have that play right there.
Well, Joey Sprague is his replacement. He's been having a pretty good hitting streak going into this game.
Batter for Kingsway will be Kyle Shields. Team as a whole is batting .339. with a .445 slugging percentage, as there's a strike called to Shields. Shields batting .417. 1 home run in the early season, .611 slugging percentage. 0-1 misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bit of a brisk one here on this Monday afternoon. We've got 52 degrees at first pitch. Wind not all that heavy, but as we said, we've had scattered showers all throughout the day, starting at around noon. Weather should warm up by the end of the week, though, considering it was in the high 80s this time last week. As a ground ball to first base picked up, he'll flip it to Adams, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 frame for Henry Adams, the right-hander. We'll go to the bottom of the first. Red Devils get their first swings of the bat right after the break. Welcome back. Your starting pitcher for the Kingsway Dragons, Miles Pezzicola, the southpaw. 11 2/3 innings for him, 5 walks, 18 Ks, 0.60 ERA, and a 1.14 whip. We did see him pitch versus Gloucester Catholic back on April the 1st. He did quite well. Gloucester Catholic was a little bit too much to overcome as the Rams won that game 10-6. Your starting lineup for the Rancocas Valley Red Devils, led by Dan Haverstick, will be as follows. Jalen Alvarez will be in right field, batting leadoff. Henry Adams is your pitcher in the 2 slot. He will take the field even when substituted out of the game. Joey Sprague is your center fielder. Batting in the cleanup spot will be Evan Valley, the shortstop. Eddie Rominski at first base in the 5 slot. Kevin Shaw is your designated hitter in the 6 slot. James Bove is in left field as a defensive-only player for the designated hitter. Malcolm Harrison at third base batting 7th. Aiden Gaskill behind the plate batting 8th. And Cole Chillerito batting 9th in the second base position. So we're going to get ready to go here. Warming up a little bit, but certainly aided by the sun being out this afternoon. Like we said, it's been all over the place. We've had scattered showers. We've had a couple raindrops coming down while we were setting up. So luckily, the sun and the gray clouds not interfering too much as a check swing foul by Alvarez goes onto the JV field, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, Jalen Alvarez, he's hit 2 homers in his past 3 games, including the first homer in this park of the season against Cherokee. And a big point about this RV team, they can fall behind early. And that did not happen in this game. So Jalen Alvarez, he hit that homer to tie the game at 3 against Cherokee. Hopefully for RV, they won't need it this time.
1-1 Alvarez is a breaking ball grounded towards first. It's foul. But yeah, we were talking before we went on the air about, if RV has a problem of falling behind, one of their best qualities is being able to recover from that. And we were mentioning these two played last year. Kingsway won 14-4, but the difference is when RV played the Dragons last year, RV's record was 6-5, as here's the 1-2 from Pezzicola outside. But RV had lost by mercy rule by 10 runs or more to Lenape, Cherokee, and Morristown. So not only is that a loss, it's a flattening loss. But turn it around, and this year, RV has now beaten all of those opponents. They beat Lenape 9-7. They beat Cherokee, who has really had a down year after being one of the most dominant teams in the state. They beat them 4-3. And then they beat Morristown on Thursday 3-1. That's been RV's last action, as that one's poked through the middle to short. Thorpe is there. He got him at first base. Great play by Braden Thorpe to get that one down at second. And now the pitcher, Henry Adams, will bat with one away and no on.
Well, a crucial detail for Henry Adams against Paul VI, his first outing as pitcher. He only went 1 inning. He allowed 4 runs. But in that game, he also batted a lot, and he got 5 RBIs in what would be a 10-6 win for RV.
Yeah, I think if you're RV, if you're Dan Haverstick in this situation, you know, you've got enough confidence to bat your pitcher lead off, to give him an opportunity in the 2 slot to hit high in the order. And now he's already given himself an opportunity to succeed and give his team a chance to succeed early. That one's tapped. That hit off of Adams' foot, and it's foul. Taking a look at that replay here from the last play that Jalen Alvarez grounded out. I mean, this is just a great range by Thorpe over at shortstop. Moving to the left of the second base bag, getting the throw down to first. That is not easy, and being able to do that with the efficiency that Thorpe has, guess it's why Rob Valley recruited him to be a road runner.
Well, I thought Alvarez had him at first base.
Yeah, Alvarez had some quick speed out of the box, but Thorpe, again, that just dynamic range and being able to fire over to first base, make that play to A.J. Ward. And that's one thing that's going to be very typical of these two teams today, as it's going to be an 0-2 count still. But Pezzicola trying to get working early here versus RV. Ground ball foul, and he'll stay alive in that at bat. Joey Sprague, the center fielder, made a nice play in the first inning. He'll be in the on-deck circle. Pezzicola, ground ball to third. Umpire calls it foul, just went behind the bag at third.
Getting a bit more windy now.
It's just been a little bit all over the place. Certainly hasn't been as bad as some of the other games we've done where there's been consistent 25, 30 mile an hour wind gusts. At least the good thing is there's a whole lot of trees around here that kind of disrupt the wind. We've seen a lot of places like Northern Burlington or not Doan Academy, but there's a couple other fields where Cinnaminston's one of them, where the wind just really swoops in almost every game. As Ford setting up outside, gets that ball to miss low. Did not get Adams to chase, and it's 1-2.
Well, this is a very nice area. Smithville Park isn't that far from here.
Not to be confused with the Smithville down in Atlantic County near AC. Here's the 1-2. Adams gives this one a ride out to left field. This one's going to stay in. It's going to dive in. That'll be a base hit. Adams will turn and stop at first. And that ball looked really good off the bat. Obviously stayed in the ballpark, just got a little bit under it, but it was enough to hit it where the left fielder wasn't and give RV their first base hit of the game thanks to their pitcher. It'll be another lefty-lefty matchup with Joey Sprague, the center fielder. Like this, I like the approach that Joey Sprague brings. He's got very quick and aggressive bat speed. He's somebody who really is able to bring the bat to the ball in a lot of different ways. He's batting .296 this year as he gets that one fouled over our heads. And it'll go on to the JV field. Got to be difficult to be one of those JV outfielders. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Got to worry about the ball coming behind you and the ball coming in front of you. Got to tackle two tasks at once. Last year for Sprague as a sophomore, .377 average. Stole 14 bases. Was 20 for 53 with a .377 average. This season, though, had a 3-hit game versus Lenape and has held a 5-game hit streak. So he's going to try to keep that going here. Pezzicola, the 1-1. No, he'll throw back to first, not in time. That's one of the big moves that a lefty can do there, have a really deceptive pickoff move, and especially if you're not used to it, it can hurt you. But Pensacola, 1-1. Sprague goes around. Umpire confirms it. And it's 1-2. And again, if you're RV right now, you talked about Rock being able to come back after falling behind, but you don't want to fall behind in the first place. You want to nip that when you can to avoid any further woes down the line, especially considering that, again, this time last year, Kingsway beat Rancocas 14-4. Pensacola looks over to first. Adams holding steady, and a breaking ball just missed outside. That'll be 2-2. Just early in the bottom of the first, though, Evan Valley, the shortstop, is on deck for the Red Devils. Kicking off our week of baseball once I got back from vacation here on DWB. That one's up and away. And the count is full, 3-2. But this is a really good at-bat here by Sprague. The best thing you can do as a lefty hitter, especially if you don't have all that much power, is really being able to work the count. He started off 0-2. He fouled a couple away, and now he's worked the count full, and he's going to work himself into a walk. Fantastic at-bat by Joey Sprague, and he'll get the trip down to first base. So 2 runners are on for the Red Devils, and it's going to bring up Evan Valley, shortstop for RV.
Yeah, Evan Valley, he started the year off well, but he's looking to get back out of that hitting slump he's recently had.
Valley this season hitting .320, 8 for 25. Has not recorded a hit in the last 3 games. All three were Olympic Conference contests versus Lenape, Cherokee, and Morristown. Had a 3-hit, 4 RBI game versus Hopewell Valley, in which RV won 15-3 as that breaking ball just missed outside, 1-0. Or no, it looks like it was called a strike. Apologies. Had 2 hits versus Bridgewater Raritan. And as we said, 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and a triple versus the Bulldogs. Back on April the 11th, that was his last hit. That one's high. Pensacola is struggling with the strike zone a little bit. Obviously, Adams was able to bloop down a base hit, but if you're Kingsway, a team that, is trying to preserve a 6-game winning streak, and RV is trying to preserve a 5-game winning streak, especially since one team played on Saturday, the other didn't, as that one's foul. You also have to consider that Kingsway played 2 games on Saturday. They played in the Steal Your Base Classic, which was a small one-day tournament held at Williamstown. They beat Pennsville 16-1, and they beat Williamstown 3-1. So you really don't know where this is going to go for Kingsway. Do you take it conservatively, and do you try to attack again once you get into your conference and division play on Wednesday with Williamstown, or you really don't know how you should or will approach the game. But 2-strike pitch foul back towards RV's dugout, and it's still 1-2.
And as I said, for RV, their bullpen is pretty much wide open. Had an off day on Saturday. Their last game was Thursday, so I think you'd eliminate Eddie Ruminski, but pretty much anyone else you can put out.
Valley again hitting .320, trying to get some RBIs and looking for his first hit in just over 2 weeks, as that one just missed. Kingsway's dugout not too pleased with that one, but it's 2-2.
I thought he had it in
saying
there.
It's outside. George Sanders is behind the plate for this ball game. Joe Rosenberg is your field umpire. Always try to credit those when possible. Obviously, John Galante helps us out a lot when TSE does games, but for the other umpiring associations, try to go out of my way a little bit as there's a dribbler out towards second base. Tough hop, picked up in time and going over to cover the bag. Good play there, and that'll be out number 2. It does move the runners over in Adams and Sprague, but you've got runners on second and third here. I like the fact that Pensacola went over to cover the bag. I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't going to be A.J. Ward going over there to cover, but I think that was mostly because he was playing off the ball to try to get there, but once the ball kind of careened and took a hop, it went over to Thorpe instead, and you do end up having a somewhat rare 4-1 putout. Strike called on the outside corner to Eddie Ruminski, the first baseman. Had a nice line drive, caught it first in the top half of the first inning. Kingsway will bat 4, 5, and 6 in the top of the second with A.J. Ward, Ashton Ford, and Nate Bott, the commit to Delaware. Ball's poked foul, and it's quickly 0-2. I do like the approach here. I mean, if you're RV, you do have a decently deep bench because you are a Group 4 school, But at the same time, you have to consider that whether you're facing a lefty or not, these left-handed hitters do have to get reps off of lefty-lefty pitching. You can't really platoon as much at the high school level. As that one just missed high. Appeal to second says no. It's 1-2. Again, even if RV doesn't get any runs this inning, you have to imagine that Pezzicola, his pitch count's going to be worked up, and the amount of time he can spend in today's ball game may not be as much as Bill Alvaro was intending when they made the trip up here. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Pezzicola gets out of the jam. He gives up a base hit and a walk, but nothing more, as through one frame here in East Hampton at the Mill Creek Road RV Sports Complex. Snow score. Welcome back. Mix of a little bit of everything this afternoon here from East Hampton. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Rock Roberson, a student at Rancocas Valley. So we've got non-conference baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. First pitch of the second is a tapper. Third base side. Harrison goes over, but it is foul. For the rest of the week on DWB, we'll have softball on Tuesday over in Deptford Township as Bergen faces Rowan College of South Jersey. It'll be a celebratory doubleheader as legendary head coach with over 900 wins, Steve DePasquale, is retiring after 32 years with the Roadrunner program and 2 national championships. As there's a ground ball out to short. Diving stop, can't get through. That'll be a base hit for A.J. Ward. It's Kingsway's first of the game. And they've got a base runner on to lead off the second. But first pitch of that game will be 3:30, with the second game following soon after at 5:30. On Wednesday, we'll have Olympic Conference baseball again, this time from Morristown, as the Quakers host the Cherry Hill West Lions. First pitch at 3:45. Then on Thursday, I go back to my alma mater for some Colonial Conference baseball with Sterling and Audubon. We'll go down to Franklinville on Friday for GCIT and Delsey, and then we'll have the first game of the Joe Lang tournament on Saturday, April 25th between Cinnaminson and Highland as back-to-back pitches, back-to-back hits. Holding at second is Ward. Ashton Ford with a base hit, and the junior catcher gets himself aboard here with a no-out single. Kingsway putting themselves in business here early after a very quiet first inning. It'll be Nate Bott, the batter, committed to Delaware. We'll have a courtesy runner at first base for the catcher Ford. That will be number 9 in Jude Palazzo. But good hitting approach here off of Henry Adams. I think that Kingsway is a team that definitely likes to get started early and likes to hit early and often. As there's a bunt, he squared up but pulled back, and it's 0-1. Bott, as we said, committed to the University of Delaware. a lot of connections in South Jersey for their head coach, Greg Mamula. And they have a decent amount of South Jersey talent on that team as here comes a bunt, popped up, and how about that? It's going to go over the fence.
Into the JV field. I think
especially with how deep of a backstop that is, that's hard to do. Put a lot of power into your bunt there. It's 0-2.
I think it's less about being in the JV outfield and worrying about balls coming your way. I think it's more about, as you see Kareem Stackhouse running over, I think it's more about that. You're worrying the ball is in play while you're over to get the foul ball.
There's the 0-2. That one's away. Good fastball that time from Adams, just missed the mark. That's one of those fastballs that is kind of evolving to replace the waste pitch because obviously the old school philosophy is 0-2. You try to get a curveball or breaking ball in the dirt and you try to waste it. But instead now some of these pitchers are throwing fastballs on 0-2 to try, as this one gets away, this is going to go to the padding. Both runners are going to move up. There is a really deep backstop, as we said here at RV, but it is brought in by Aiden Gaskell. And that'll put runners on second and third here as it'll be a 2-2 count to Nate Bott. But as we were saying with that 0-2 waste pitch, sometimes these pitchers, they like to set up a fastball outside, especially if they're dealing with the same hand. You know, lefty-lefties are a little bit different, but if you're a righty-righty, you try to set up that fastball away, try to get them to chase or at least force weak contact the other way instead of actually wasting a pitch. It's a little bit more effective. Here's the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Good strikeout there from Adams. And you saw that there. A lot of the fastballs that Adams threw were on the outer half of the zone. This time he does fade a little bit in, and he's able to get Bott to swing on that 2-2. And even with a fastball-heavy approach and even with the passed ball, no harm there as he gets Bott to strike out for the first out of the inning. It's almost like you put the ball in play and you get a ground out to roll the runners over. Really no different. But the batter is now Austin Schmidt, the left fielder. Takes it low at the knees. Although I do give props to Aiden Gaskell for framing that time at 1-0. Couldn't get anything that time. As we were saying, though, with Delaware, Bott will join a very talented group of South Jersey talent there. Anthony Charles out of Clearview has been having some great years there. Sam Winsett of Eastern went to Coastal Carolina for a year, entered the transfer portal and found himself in Newark, Delaware. And then Ethan Schaub, a left-hander who went to Haddon Township, spent 2 years at Rowan College, and then went to Delaware. I think Kai Hutchins is there now. I'm not sure. No, he might be over at Lynn University, over with Kyle McSorley, but got a 2-2 count. Austin Schmidt looking to put the first runs on the board.
I think if you're Henry Adams, you might want to walk him here. It's a good frame by Gaskell for strike one right there.
Well, at the same time, though, you're dealing with Christian Finelli on deck, who's in the 8 spot. It's not always the best situation to walk somebody, I guess you could say intentionally, this early in the game. I mean, if you're Austin Schmidt, obviously he's done decently well in his time at Kingsway, batted .346 as a junior. Only hitting .214 this year, though. So if you're Henry Adams, you know, an intentional walk is for the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning. In the 2nd inning, you don't really want to worry about that. You want to get in those situations where you don't want to put that many runners on. You really don't want to put any on under your own volition. And you don't want to have the bases loaded for Christian Finelli because not only does he have some pop, he's also got some speed in that bat as well. Here's the 3-1. Adams outside, so we will walk him anyway, being a little bit careful around the zone, and that'll be the bases loaded. Schmidt on first. Ford's runner, that is, on second, and A.J. Ward on third. So now it'll be a pitching visit here for the Red Devils. Jeff Singer is usually the pitching coach for the Red Devils, but we were told he's not coaching this year because he recently became a dad. He's got a newborn kid at home. But Singer, who was at Rowan College, RCSJ, spent a lot of time in the Phillies organization. He is what many would call a phantom Major League Baseball player in the sense that he was called up to the big leagues but never actually played a game. If I'm correct, it was in the 2020 season, either 2019 or 2020. He was called up for a day or two at the end of the season, never got a chance to play, though, and now he's back at Rancocas Valley, although it's an honor that many people never have the distinction of playing professional baseball. He still did that. He still got to be in the major league environment. He just didn't get a chance to play. You know, there's guys that have cup of coffees, as we like to call them. You know, they only play a game or two in the big leagues and don't really have any other experience outside of that. But that's still more than many of us can ever say that we've done. So hopefully we get to see Jeff Singer back out there. He runs 1-1 pitching, a development program down here in South Jersey, as Adams is going to fake a throwback to second. He was trailing pretty far off the bag, so I don't blame him for wanting to do that. But the batter will be Christian Finelli, the center fielder. In the 8 slot, takes a strike. Last season batted .308. Has a homer already this year. That was on opening day over at Jackson Township. Kingsway won that game 11-5. But batting .250 this season, 8 for 32, as that one's fouled back, and it's 0-2. In the on-deck circle will be Braden Bell, the third baseman, but this would be huge for Rancocas Valley because one swing puts a double play ball in action, and you've already got a very dynamic duo in Cilarito and Valley over at second and short. It could very well get a 4-6-3 or even a 6-4-3, or even Harrison could start it around the horn to get out of this jam. That one's away, 1-2.
Just a bit outside right there.
Yeah, again, on 0-2 pitches, you're not really trying to do too much. You're not trying to leave one out too much. You know, you want to paint the corners, but you don't want to make it very obvious you're going to throw it away. But the infield corners, at least, are on the edge of the grass. Short and second still playing at regular depth. That one's away, and it's 2-2. But even if you strike him out here, you'll still have to deal with Bell. But that's one step closer to getting out of the jam, which is a lot better than all of the other alternatives. Let's say that. 2-2, Adams delivers. Fouled back over our heads.
Well, at least it went to foul territory in the JV field.
I'm noticing Adams doesn't really run out of the stretch that much. He kind of has one windup consistently. He's not running a quicker form because he's got runners on or anything like that. He's just kind of staying consistent and not really working from any kind of slide step or anything. That one's a ground ball. That'll be through the middle. It hits off the bag, goes towards shortstop. It gets away, and an unlucky bounce to defeat all unlucky bounces brings in a run for the Dragons, and it's 1-0. So that will be a very unfortunate RBI single. Christian Finelli moves everybody station to station, and the Dragons are on the board. But even in the middle infield, that is very hard to predict, and sometimes the element of the game gives you a gift, and that's exactly what it was there. Batter's Bell.
Well, I haven't seen a ball hit off the base yet this season here at RV. That is certainly interesting.
It's one thing that you got to prepare for sometimes if you're a middle infielder, but it's not something that you really see all the time, so it still can catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. But Adams dealing with station-to-station traffic here. 1-0 Dragons. This one's fouled back. But a lot of room to run down here at RV, not just in the foul lines, but also in the outfield. It's pretty deep to center field. And in general, just a pitcher-friendly ballpark, which is pretty common in the Olympic Conference. Cherry Hill West is one of them, 404 feet to center field. I would say Cherokee's kind of pitcher-friendly for the same reason, but a foul ball. One that is certainly not is Bishop Eustis, unless you're a right-handed hitter. That one goes down to 294 in the right field alley because it backs up to Route 70, so they didn't really have a choice. I would say, though, the Olympic Conference is a little bit polarizing with that because you have some really pitcher-friendly parks like RV and Cherry Hill West, or even Eastern for that matter, and then you have the other side of the pendulum, which is really hitter-friendly parks like PVI and Bishop Eustis. As this one's fouled, right field line. It'll go out of play, and the at-bat continues for Braden Bell. 0-2.
Well, like I said, there's only been one homer here in this park, Jalen Alvarez. Down 3-1 for RV, like we said, scrappy team, willing to come back from being down, as they are right now. And he tied the game 3-3. RV went on to win 4-3 against Cherokee, Olympic Conference play.
No balls, 2 strikes. Adams delivers. One's fouled back again. It's going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up already. This has been a lot of foul balls here for Braden Bell. And they're going to have to grab another couple of game balls out of the bag for RV. We'll go back to the top of the order for Braden Thorpe after this batter. But again, this is a very pivotal part of the early stages of the game. One swing can be a double play ground ball to end the inning. And one swing can also make this a 2, 3, 4, even 5-run game if you hit it out of the ballpark. So a lot of things can go a lot of different ways. The 0-2 outside by a hair, 1-2.
Well, one thing is Evan Valley is standing really close to second right now. You could just hit it right through the gap for a quick base hit.
I don't blame him for standing that close. I don't even really blame Celerito for even standing that close either. I think that most of it is trying to draw that double play ball and give yourself the best chance of getting that. Like this, ground ball out to second, to Valley, throw to first, no throw. It'll be a fielder's choice, 4-6, and the Dragons take a 2-0 lead as Ford comes in to score. Check that, his courtesy runner comes in to score. That is Jude Palazzo. But just wasn't enough to turn 2 that time, but it's still an out, and it's still one step closer to getting out of it. And like we said, Rock, if you're talking about RV being able to come back from these kind of deficits, being able to be resilient, be a comeback kid kind of team, you also got to be happy for Kingsway as well with this resilience in the bottom of the order, getting 2 RBIs out of the 8 and 9 guys. You don't see that through every team. Sometimes those guys at the bottom of the order may not be all that prolific in getting RBIs, but Finelli and Bell have done a very good job of that. This time is called. Gaskell talking it over here, trying to get a different signal. We go back to the top of the order, though, with Braden Thorpe. He's dealing with 2 runners on and 2 away. Adams, the right-hander, this time from the stretch. Hit to right field. This one's pretty deep down the line. It is a foul ball. Over towards Alvarez in right field, and avoided a good one there, as that could have gotten 1 or 2 runs home if that had stayed fair, but the count's 0-1. Thorpe, the commit to Rowan College of South Jersey, as we said, lined out to first base in his first at-bat. A nice grab by Raminski. Sun has been fading in and out, though, with these scattered clouds.
Started shining right as the first inning was going, and then it started getting covered again as we went into the top of the second.
It's been in and out all day, and even though it's 52, certainly doesn't feel like 52, just because the sun is shining and the wind is minimal, as that one's high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Logan Taylor in the on-deck circle if the inning continues. For the Red Devils, it'll be Raminski, Shaw, and Harrison, 5, 6, and 7 in the bottom of the second inning. It would be Shaw leading off, as there's a ground ball, fly ball, right field side, that gets away. Alvarez dove, but he couldn't get it. 1 run comes in. Here comes Bell around third. All the way to third will be Braden Thorpe. 2-run triple, and Kingsway gets themselves a 4 spot. They now lead this one 4-0 as 3 straight hits for RBI put the Dragons in a pivotal lead position here in the top of the second inning, as it will be Logan Taylor, the batter, now trying to continue the rally.
Not the first time RV's been down early in the game. I mean down 4 early in the game. They were down 4 to Paul VI. Came back and won 10-6, and that was another Henry Adams game. So that's definitely interesting.
Bell and Schmidt came around on that triple by Thorpe. Strike called. It's 0-2. The 0-2. Chased it. wipeout slider, and that it will retire the side. Kingsway gets 4 runs home on 8 batters. Taylor's the last one to hit, and the only one not to grab a bat was Kyle Shields. RV's got some work to do. 4-0 after 1.5 frames. Welcome back. Bottom of the second inning. Kingsway getting themselves on the board early with a 4 spot in the top of the second inning. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Rock Roberson. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. Shaw, Harrison, and Gaskell. After RV got 1 hit, 1 walk, but a scoreless frame out of Miles Pezzicola. Home plate umpire is telling the Kingsway coaches to stand in the dugout. Well, I don't know. I guess
That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. He went over there and he told him to go back into the dugout, but then eventually they just let him stay. So here's a ground ball, third base side. Glove side for Bell on the run. What a stretch! He got him!
Full split.
Wonderful play at first base by A.J. Ward, and just as good of a throw by Braden Bell. That's out number 1, and that is a fantastic play. Defense is going to be a big part of this game, and no better example of it than right there with that 5-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Malcolm Harrison. With Rancocas Valley was tied in the bottom of the first inning. They held Kingsway off the board, but then a 4 spot really changed the complexity of this game as Harrison takes a strike inside corner. For Harrison, a junior, batting .400 this year, 8 for 20. All singles for him, but 6 RBIs, and has hit safely in his last 5 games, including 2 hits apiece versus Seneca and Hopewell Valley. RV is a team hitting .318, but with a 4.82 team ERA. Chase Logue has really been the anchor of their rotation, 1.40 ERA, as that one is lined into center field, a base hit. Malcolm Harrison gets that one down, and he gets a single off of Pezzicola here in the bottom of the second.
Logue, a 1.4 ERA. He has pitched multiple complete games, had a great game against Seneca. He came in against Paul VI when Henry got shelled, and he completed the rest of the game, allowing only 2 runs. Completed the full game against Cherokee, allowed 3 in that one as RV won 4-3. Great season for Chase Logue, and also a great season for Malcolm Harrison.
First pitch is up. As Pezzicola faces Aiden Gaskell. With the Dragons getting a 4 spot, as we said, a lot of that offensive input came from the bottom of the order. Had a RBI from Christian Finelli, had another from Braden Bell, and then that 2-run double by Braden Thorpe. I wouldn't say blew the game open. If Kingsway got a couple extra runs, maybe it would have been, but gets a swing and a miss that time on a sinker. And it'll be 1-2.
Well, this has been an interesting season for Aiden Gaskell. Only 2 hits, but both of those were game-winning hits against Lenape and Paul VI. And he's just had a hitting slump so far. And other than that, he draws a lot of walks. I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. Karim Stackhouse comes in. He runs. He can steal bases. He's a very good runner. And I think that's it for Aiden Gaskell.
Well, I think as well, he is relatively new to this RV team. You're going to have some growing pains when you're a first-year varsity player. You know, being 2 for 15 as a sophomore is a lot more acceptable, and if anything, shows that you still have trust from Dan Haverstick, from your head coach, because he's still hitting you in the lineup every day. If you're batting 133 as a senior, you know, it might be a little bit different, but for him it means that he's projectable, and it means that he can still have the confidence of his head coach. But he does go down swinging that time, as it'll be Ciarlo Rito, second baseman. So Harrison had the base hit. Gaskell struck out swinging, and before then, Shaw grounded out to third base on a very fine play by Braden Bell. But now bottom of the order for the Red Devils, and probably the best time to be Miles Pezzicola right now, because you're not dealing with a lot of traffic and you're not dealing with the top of the order. So if you get this 9-batter out here, you can face Alvarez, Adams, and Sprague on a very fresh slate in the third. Throw down to second, not in time. And a swiped bag for the Red Devils, so puts the runner Harrison in scoring position. And it'll be 1-1. I like the aggressiveness, though. I haven't seen a lot of runners try to go on Ashton Ford. So the ability for him to get a quick jump, get down to second, and have a nice slide as well, as the ball came in just a little bit late. But a solid pop time still from that catcher. So you get a little bit of everything. Ground ball, second base. Thorpe will be there. Throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. So 2 shutout frames from Miles Pezzicola. We go to the third here in East Hampton. 4-0 Kingsway.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
Woo!
Welcome back from East Hampton. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road. That one's going to go out of play for strike one to Kingsway to open up the third. 3, 4, and 5 for the Dragons. Kyle Shields was the only batter not to grab a bat in that 4-run second. So Shields, Ward, and Ford. Pops out of the glove of Gaskell. It's 1-1. Whew. Wind is really picking up here this afternoon, but do have a score update from the BCSL. Cinnaminson trails Northern Burlington 3-0 in the second inning. Kevin Minnick, our good friend, is over there as that one is away. 2-1. Adams, as we said, came into this game with an 8.40 ERA in 5 innings, although he has pitched in 4 different seasons for the Red Devils, so he's had valuable varsity time dating back to his freshman year. His best season to this point has probably been his sophomore year, 4.08 ERA in 12 innings, but had 12 innings as a sophomore, 13 2/3 as a junior, and has pitched in 2 games this season at 1 inning versus PVI, and that'll be ball 4, putting a base runner on in Kyle Shields to open up the third. So he pitched 1 versus PVI, had 4 innings where he allowed 9 hits and 3 earned runs, 2 unearned versus Lenape, but RV did win that game by a score of 9-7. Batting .550 at the plate, though, this season. So even though his pitching numbers have not been what the RV staff may have expected out of him, he turned a .207 average as a junior into a .550 so far in the early going, 11 for 20. And you can add on another one with that base hit to left in the first inning. So the kid's been hitting, but it's 1-0 to A.J. Ward. Ward, the senior, 5'10", batting .438 in his swan song season, 3 extra base hits, but 14 hits already, 14 for 32. As here comes a back pick. He had a bad jump. Now here comes a rundown. He'll go to shortstop. He'll go back to first. He's going to chase him down. He'll try to slide in, and he's out. Great pickoff that time from Henry Adams as he initiates the rundown, and he retires Kyle Shields for out number 1. It's a complicated play to get right, but when you do, it works out dividends, as that'll be the first out of the third, and it now re-clears the bases for Rancocas Valley.
That's also going to affect the RV bullpen. Coach Haverstick just sent out Mason Hill of RV.
Flying out towards right, and what's going to be out of play. And it's 1-2. So Ward, as we mentioned, he was originally in the lineup card as the catcher, but he switched with Ashton Ford and is now at first base today. Ward batted .233 as a junior. Also a wrestler for Kingsway, as that one is low.
A lot of balls that is kicked out from Aiden Gaskell so far. I haven't really seen this all season.
It's always good to have a catcher who, even with the bases empty, is going to be able to back you up. Because remember, here at RV, there's probably a good 25, 30 feet between home plate and the backstop as there's a swing and a miss. Adams picks up the strikeout. That's his third of the afternoon, and there's 2 away. After the walk, Shields was retired via pickoff, and now Ward is retired via strikeout now for the catcher, Ashton Ford. So he bats with 2 away, nobody on. But the best thing that can happen to Rancocas Valley in this inning is a shutdown frame. That pickoff kind of set the gears in motion. If you can get a quick third, send your team to the plate in the home half. But that is a base hit to left field. That's going to drop. Picked up at the chest. And that will be a 2-out base runner for Kingsway, setting up Nate Bott, who struck out in his last at-bat swinging. Bott will also be batting with runners on. He struck out with 2 runners on. And once again, for Kingsway, they will have that same courtesy runner in Jude Palazzo. So 2 outs, 1 on. Rancocas Valley trying to keep this lead at bay, trying to keep it as short as it is, as that's a foul ball.
Strike 1.
Went back to the backstop that time. We mentioned Delaware with Nate Bott. He's not the only South Jersey product to be headed there as well. We talked about Luke Guire, who is a true freshman there, along with Grant Fournier, who went to Cherry Hill West. Adams taking his time from the stretch. That one's fouled back, same spot. It's 0-2. Rancocas Valley will bat 1, 2, and 3. Bottom of the third inning.
Alvarez, Adams, and Sprague.
It's exactly what we were talking about with Miles Pezzicola. Is if you're Kingsway, you really want to face those top of the order guys with a clean slate. You don't want to have to face a guy like Jalen Alvarez, who's hitting 500 this year, with traffic on, as this one's fouled back. That's 0-2. And Adams hasn't been doing bad per se. You know, I don't want to knock him too much for what he's done. He has held these Kingsway batters at bay for the most part. But you were talking about Rancocas Valley's scrappiness and their ability to play well in the field and find their way to dig themselves out of deficits. But you also have to remember, both of these teams are on pretty long winning streaks right now. Kingsway's won their last 6 straight. RV's won their last 5 straight. Somebody's winning streak is going to end today. And whether it's the Red Devils or whether it's Kingsway, both of these teams have started off hot to begin the year. Adams, the 1-2. That one's high at the face level. Counts even again, 2-2. Kingsway to this point in the game with 5 hits, 4 runs. Left nobody on in the first and left 2 on in the second. 2-2. It's another fastball just upstairs. It's a couple times in a row now Adams has thrown that same pitch around the same part of the zone. Wouldn't be surprised if he tries to change it up here and try to go low, maybe a little bit outside, try to disrupt the motion. He's thrown 2 or 3 fastballs at the upper half. We'll see if he goes low here.
Runner goes.
Not really, but it's strike 3 called, middle in, and that's strikeout number 4 for Henry Adams, the senior. They hold Kingsway at bay, that's for sure, but a walk and a single leaves 1 runner on base. Leadoff man Jalen Alvarez coming up when we return. Welcome back. Bottom of the third inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Our broadcasts, for the most part, are mostly unpaid, for the sense that we promote programs in South and Central Jersey with the highlight of student athletes on the field in their sport. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting and help out the dream of many local sports journalists here in South Jersey, you can send us anything you'd like on our Venmo at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens, and of course, by no means required, but it helps out a lot for things like travel costs, equipment expenses. I know sometimes these pieces of equipment, they need to be replaced, so anything goes a very, very long way. Here's the 1-1 to Jalen Alvarez. That one's low. Alvarez had a nice shot back up the middle in the bottom of the first inning, but it was stopped by Logan Taylor at short. 1, 2, and 3 for Rancocas Valley. Alvarez, Adams, and Sprague as they try to cut back on this 4-0 deficit. That one is low and away, 2-1.
If Alvarez walks here, I think Henry Adams is probably going to jumpstart this RV offense.
He is batting .550, as we said. So even though his ERA has not been optimal, he has that fallback at the plate. This one skied out towards left field, hit pretty well. Going back Schmidt, this one's pretty deep, and it is. One hopped off the wall, it's in play, and Alvarez didn't need a walk. Got a two-bagger to left, and RV's got their base runner. That ball just kept on carrying. It felt like the wind was at our back for a good second there, as he got a little bit jammed. If he had squared that up just a little bit more, he could have had an opposite field homer, but instead he'll have to settle for a double, which is not really much to settle for. It still is a good hit by all means, and he now sets up Henry Adams with a runner in scoring position here for Rancocas Valley.
Would have been the second home run in this park this season and his second home run here.
Adams blooped a single to left in the bottom of the first. Pezzicola, first pitch, strike called. Again, for the rest of this week for DWB, we've got Bergen and RCSJ softball, 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. Wednesday will be Cherry Hill West and Morristown at 3:45. Thursday will be Sterling and Audubon at 3:45 as well. And Friday will be GCIT at Delsey at 4 o'clock. Saturday will be Cinnaminson and Highland in the Joe Lang tournament at Pittman High School at 11 a.m. And then on Sunday, we've got more action. It's Suffolk County and RCSJ for softball at 12 and 2. There's a ground ball out to second base. Scoop, no, he didn't get it. That ball just popped out of the glove of A.J. Ward. That'll be a fielding error on the first baseman as that ball skipped in. And it will now be Joey Sprague, who now will have a chance to drive in Rancocas Valley's first run of the game with runners on the corners.
That Cherry Hill West Morristown game is going to be very interesting to me, especially because Cherry Hill West plays RV here on DWB on the 28th.
Yeah, that'll be at the Tom Trotman Field in Cherry Hill, but should be fun nonetheless as we get Joey Sprague, the batter. That one's a ball.
Bit low and away.
I don't mind that first pitch curveball there from Pezzicola. I think it's something that not a whole lot of pitchers do, but if you're able to master it, it really is a good ability to have. You just have to manage it. Strike beneath the letters, 1-1. But RV hitting the middle of the order here with 2 on, nobody out. Should set up a fun precedent if RV gets on the board. Pickoff throw to first, not in time.
Evan Valley on deck.
Shortstop for Rancocas. Dribble out towards second base. It's going to go into right field for a base hit. Run scores. Alvarez comes in from third. It's an RBI single. And the Red Devils are getting back into this one. It's 4-1. That now sets up Evan Valley, the shortstop.
No outs. Interesting, they're not putting in a runner for Henry Adams here.
Well, you can at any point, but they're choosing to hold him out there with nobody out. I'm sure if this was a 2-out situation, they would definitely pull the runner and put in a courtesy, as Valley very hesitantly tried to show bunt. The call is a ball.
I think they'd most likely put in Aiden Gaines at second if they were to take out Henry right here.
Either way,
You've seen some weird bounces at this field today, Dan.
might not be the last either with how this game is shaping up, but now sets up Rominski, the first baseman, lefty-lefty matchup. We talk about those pivotal moments. One swing can be a ground ball double play, but Rominski's also the tying run as he gets a swing and a miss that time.
Well, speaking of pivotal moments, Rominski's pivotal moment against Moorestown wasn't a hit, it was getting hit. Alex Berman hit 3 batters in that game, and Eddie Rominski getting hit right there led to 3 runs for RV and a 3-1 win.
Throw back to first, not in time. Pezzicola had Rominski beat in his at-bat in the first inning, got him to chase a fastball high. And that ended the inning before Kingsway responded with 4 runs in the second. But this could be a very back-and-forth game if these two teams continue to go at it here. As here comes a pickoff, got a first and third steal. He's coming home, and he didn't slide. He got him. Kingsway played that one perfectly. RV had a nice pickoff in the top half. Kingsway gets one of their own as the pitcher Henry Adams thrown out at home. It does move Valley to second base, but that complicates the situation here as it's 0-1 to Rominski. But a really nice move by Pezzicola. It is worth your weight in gold if you are able to be a left-handed pitcher with a strong pickoff move. You know, one of the guys I think of that had such a smooth move, at least when I was growing up, it was a guy like Clayton Kershaw, somebody who had a very up and down movement, and there's a ground ball to second, but he was able to be very efficient when he was throwing over to first base. Rancocas Valley gets a run home, but I'm sure that they certainly wish that they could have gotten more, as Kingsway, with strong defense, mostly gets out of the jam. Through 3 here in East Hampton, it's Kingsway 4, RV 1. Welcome back to Rancocas Valley. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. Their next event will be on Saturday, May the 2nd, at Pinelands Regional High School in Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey, down in Ocean County. For more information on future events, visit dawgprowrestling.com. 1 run for RV in the bottom of the third, as this one's fouled back by Austin Schmidt. Schmidt walked in his first at bat. He set up Christian Finelli, who had the RBI single. That opened up Kingsway's 4-run rally in the fourth. As a part of a 4-hit campaign, singles by Ward, Ford, and Finelli. A strike called 0-2. But with Adams still in the game, you mentioned that RV brought out a pitcher into the bullpen. That would be
Mason Hill.
Yeah, Mason Hill, a senior, a part of a very large senior class for RV. Grand total of 11 seniors of 2026 on this team. But sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes if you need a big push, the best thing you can ask for is a team that is chocked full of veteran players who have been here a long time. You know, they're not new transfers. They're not new faces. They're just people that are very familiar with what Haverstick wants and what is best for the program. As that'll be a ground ball to second for out number 1. Schmidt is retired, and the batter is Finelli.
Mason Hill is a really interesting case for me. He has an 8.17 ERA, 6 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, but I feel like a lot of that just comes in 1 inning. I think he's still, like, pretty good, just a lot of like bursts, you know.
That seems to be what RV is something that they need to work on. We were talking during the break about their Bridgewater Raritan game, which funny enough with our opening day game back in 2024, a game that Bridgewater Raritan won 5-3 en route to their state championship year, but they seem to have this issue where they give up a lot of runs at once and then they settle down. In the game that they lost to Bridgewater Raritan, they scored most, if not all, of their runs in the fourth inning. But RV had held them at bay otherwise. It's just sometimes when things start to unravel, you need to stop it before the entire roll unwinds. You know, you really just have to get yourself settled in before any problems can start. And that's the one thing that you have to worry about in baseball. You really have to worry about it in let's use basketball as an example. It's like when a team goes on a 10 or 12-0 run. You got to call a
timeout.
You got to call a timeout to talk it out. You can't really do that in baseball. You could do it with mound visits and everything like that, but
you have a limited amount, is what you're trying to say.
Well, what I'm also saying is that this is a sport based off of momentum. If you score 3 runs in the bottom half of an inning, you're going to probably translate some of that momentum onto the defensive side of the ball. So here's a fly ball to right field. Alvarez will make the catch on the run. Great play by the right fielder, and that's out number 2. As Finelli kept off base there. I mean, Alvarez looked like he was slightly shifted over. If he was in his normal position, he probably would have had that without issue. But bygones are bygones. He made the catch no matter what. And Braden Bell, the number 9 hitter, is batting for Kingsway. But if he can have another scoreless inning here, that will really make the second inning look like an anomaly. As on the first pitch, it's skied to shallow center. It'll actually go to the edge of the grass in the infield. And Cole Cilarito makes the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 frame for Henry Adams. Looks like RV's going to get back to work here as they got 1 in the third. They'll look to add on more in the bottom of the fourth. Jersey is the number 2 seed. As we said, they beat Manville 19-0 in the first round, which was even larger than Audubon's 16-0 win over Paulsboro as the 1 seed in the first round. That one's hit out towards center field straight away. Oh, she misjudged it. Got over her head in center field. Now this one's got a chance to be 3 bases for Spire. She's flying around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not in time. What a way to kick off a semifinal with an inside the park home run. Emma Spire, who will take her talents to the Great Danes after 2026, lights up the scoreboard with a fly ball that got misjudged in center field. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, bottom of the fourth inning. Kingsway leads RV 4-1. As Shaw will lead us off 6, 7, and 8 for the Red Devils. But both of these teams on pretty hot winning streaks. Kingsway's won their last 6 in a row. RV's won their last 5. But one of those streaks will end today as Pezzicola, still working, gets a fastball at the pipe. Strike called, and it's 0-1. Shaw, Harrison, and Gaskell for RV as Pezzicola delivers. Beautiful breaking ball, but it just missed. That's one of the good things about Pezzicola. He's one of those, I call it a tension and release windup, where you really go into it slower, and then all of that tension unwinds in your windup for a really kind of wicked delivery where you're throwing it harder than it looks when you start that windup. So his ability to get a nice break on that breaking ball, kind of like it's more of a sweeper if anything, but that's really what the modern curveball is these days. If you look at really strong relief pitchers like Mason Miller, Jose Alvarado. For the Phillies case, we could say Orion Kerkering. None of those guys really have traditional curveballs. I mean, Alvarado's got his 12-6, but even that has evolved into a sweeper where it does more damage to attack the inside part of the zone and try to wipe out a batter from the inside out than it is to try to get that looping motion to get that curveball to stick inside of the zone. There's a slider up there, and it's 2-2.
Still very traumatized by Ryan Kerker.
I'm just saying for their sakes, you know, you think of the pitchers from when I was growing up, like Clayton Kershaw, Cole Hamels, for the Phillies, say Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay. They all had your very traditional curveball. You know, you'd release the ball from pretty
really
high up
and then
it would drop down. But now with a guy like Pezzicola, if you look at where his arm releases, that's not that high up, and his shoulder is pretty far dipped down, but that curveball comes inside, and it's going to try to wipe you out at the knees. That is ball 4 to Kevin Shaw. There is a Matt Shaw that I know from some other team, but it'll be Malcolm Harrison, the batter. Harrison singled in his first at-bat. He's 1 for 1.
Harrison, he calls himself the Swiss Army knife. Fun fact about Harrison, he's a wide receiver in football, but he played quarterback for a few games once the starting quarterback of RV got injured.
This ball skied out to center field. Going over, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. As Finelli ranges over. Best thing for Pezzicola here. Best thing for Pezzicola, though, is it would be to get out of this inning quickly, because then you have to deal with Cilarito. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with that all day. But you're going to deal with 9-1 and 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning if he stays in this game. And after the second inning, no, it was the first inning that he had, where he had a whole lot of pitches. He had some long at-bats. He worked up that count. Now he's kind of making up for it. And if you're able to get out of this 4th inning without a lot of issues, that should give Bill Alvaro some confidence to keep him in the game. That moves inside to Gaskell, and it's 2-0. So Shaw on first.
Gaskell almost got hit against Moorestown. I think Mr. Haverstick made it a point just to take it and take the base.
Take one for the team, you know. But he's got a 3-0 count now. It will be Cilarito on deck for RV, and after that it will be Jalen Alvarez. So if you're the Red Devils, you would love to see a situation with 2 on or even the bases loaded for Alvarez. The strike is called, 3-1. Looked good there down the plate, especially when you're struggling with command. Best thing you can do is a fastball or an otherwise inoffensive pitch that he's not going to hit, but you just want to get back in the zone, and he's going to get another one there, 3-2. So after the 3-0 start, Pezzicola's now 1 strike away from getting the strikeout. Gaskell 0 for 1, struck out in his first at-bat, and the 3-2 is up and away. Couldn't get that one to stick, and it's ball 4, bringing up Cilarito with 2 on, both via walks, and 1 away in the inning.
Kareem Stackhouse comes in for Gaskell at first.
Yeah, running for the catcher that time as Kingsway's pitching coach will come out. Kingsway, as we said, played 2 games on Saturday. They participated in the Steal Your Base Classic at Williamstown, which consisted of, I believe it was Pennsville, Deptford, Williamstown, and Kingsway. They won both games. They beat Pennsville 16-1, beat Williamstown 3-1, and they get to play Williamstown again on Wednesday. They'll play Bishop Eustis on Saturday the 25th. That's down in Margate for the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, which should be a lot of great games down there. Of course, Bishop Eustis and Kingsway, that rivalry is mostly known for the Ralph Shaw Classic at Audubon High School, where they had played against each other for several years.
Didn't play at the Ralph Shaw this year, though.
Well, that was mostly why, because Kingsway decided instead of playing Bishop Eustis in the Shaw, they would play them down in Margate instead in the Coaches versus Cancer. We do have a runner, a pinch runner that is not covered under the courtesy rules at second base. It will be Chase Logue running for Shaw. So I could see a situation here in the 5th where Logue would come into the game, because RV hasn't played since Thursday, so mostly everybody's still in it. But Logue could replace Adams on the mound, and you could forfeit the designated hitter position, which what that would do is that would make Adams, wherever position he goes, he would still bat second, and then Logue would hit as the pitcher in the 6th slot. So you would basically give up the DH that way.
Well,
they're going to throw back to second base, and he's safe.
Well, the problem with that is Chase Logue is pitcher only. He usually has a DH under him.
Okay. So yeah, then I don't know. I guess. Well, remember in high school you also are allowed to re-enter once, so he very well could be run for, and then we could see Shaw back in the game. But I don't blame RV for making this move, though. It's middle of the game, tying runs up, and you want to get those runs home. So if you can get a little bit of an edge on speed, if it helps you, then that's great. But it counts 1-2 to Cilarito, who grounded out to second softly in his first at bat. And once again, Jalen Alvarez waits in the wings. And we'll see what damage, if any, he can do. That one is low. Alvarez is 1 for 2, had a double in the 3rd inning.
I think they're going to save Logue for Wednesday at Shawnee.
That's what I would think with the big division game in the Olympic American. But you really never know. I mean, this game also does matter for power points with 2 Group 4s, as that one's inside, 3-2. And this is where you reach an impasse, if you will. If you're Cilarito, you do want to put the ball in play. You do want to get on base. So you got to swing at anything close, but you also can't be too aggressive at the risk of swinging it at what would be ball 4. So it's a really fine line. It's like you're walking on a tightrope, especially as this 9-hitter. Here's the payoff. He will take it. It skips in, and the bases will be loaded for Jalen Alvarez, who is the go-ahead run. And really a lot of trouble here for Miles Pezzicola, as I think they're going to pull him from the game. This is the second mound visit, which would mean
the inning, right?
Yes, that would mean that he's going to go. There was a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. And Pezzicola's day is done. So we'll see who they call in. I saw briefly warming up over there was number 14 in Zach Burlingame. And it looks like it will instead be number 12, Jake Mangiafesta, coming into the game for the Dragons. Miles Pezzicola comes out. He's walked 3 batters in the 4th inning, and he exits with 3 1/3 under his belt. We return after the break, 4-1, Dragons. A.J. Amos, the new pitcher for Kingsway. I mistakenly said Zach Burlingame. He's number 12 instead of 22. For the right-hander, has a career 4.04 ERA. This inning, 11 strikeouts, 7 2/3 innings, 6 walks, and an 8.22 ERA. But he faces Jalen Alvarez, and to this point, the biggest at-bat of the game. Bases loaded, 1 away. Here's the first pitch, outside, 1-0. Alvarez doubled in the third, came around to score. Amos will step off. He's pitched in 5 games this year, most recently appeared on Thursday in 5 innings versus Newman Goretti, a game that Kingsway won 10-3. That one is low. Excuse me, no, he only had 1 inning, 5 pitches, pardon. He has not had an outing of longer than 2 1/3 this year, which was versus GCIT in late March. Amos, the 2-0 to Alvarez. Outside. That RV dugout's going to get louder with every ball as they're trying to get back into this game. They're trying to get ahead. And his biggest test has been the junior outfielder, Jalen Alvarez. Amos looking to avoid the cardinal sin of relievers, walking in a run. Here's the 3-0, and that is a strike called. In the on-deck circle will be Henry Adams, looking to help his own cause. And no better place to do it with the bases loaded for a guy batting .550. Here's the 3-1. Puts a charge into it, popped up, first base side. Got a lot of room.
It's going to be
and
out
no
back.
room. That goes out of play. Very deep foul grounds here at the East Hampton Complex, but unfortunately for Kingsway, they were unable to get any field on that ball. Adams has put the ball in play and has reached base twice, had a single in the first, reached on a fielding error in the third inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A.J. Amos looking to keep this game where it's at. 4-1 Kingsway. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him.
It was in the dirt, too.
Huge curveball from Amos to Alvarez. He chased it, and that's out number 2 as Henry Adams is the batter now.
I thought that was the third out. My bad.
Just such a huge moment there for A.J. Amos, being able to work the count. He was at 3-0. Then he got the count full, and a breaking ball that was out of the zone. He chased ball 4, and now it'll be Adams who takes another curveball, probably a similar spot to where Alvarez swung and missed at his, and it's 1-0. But for Adams, as we said, going into this game, he's at an 8.4 ERA on the mound, but a .550 average at the plate, 11 for 20. Amos, the 1-0. Swing and a miss late on the fastball. The best case scenario here for Bill Alvaro obviously is no runs, but for A.J. Amos, you got to imagine he could stay in the bottom of the 5th inning and delay Kingsway bringing on another bullpen arm in the 5th, because they do have Brody Racon warming up down the left field line. Strike called, it's 1-2. Huge spot here for Kingsway. RV trying to get on the board, and, well, they are on the board, but they're trying to get on the board this inning and looking to avoid bases loaded with nothing to show for it. Amos to Adams. The 1-2. Breaking ball called, strike 3. Lower half of the plate, and he got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for A.J. Amos. And the inning is over. Kingsway leaves RV with the bases loaded. We go to the 5th here in East Hampton, 4-1 Dragons. Valley here replacing Henry Adams, who pitched 4 innings, got the job done, but the second inning certainly a blemish on his day as he finishes with 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, but 4 runs allowed. Hill comes into the game with a 8.17 ERA in 6 innings in his first varsity season. 5'11", 175 for the right-hander, 7 earned runs, 1 walk. Started versus Bridgewater Raritan back on April the 1st, and that 9-4 loss gave up 6 earned runs. But versus Lenape, pitched 2 2/3 and only gave up 1. So he's looking to have another appearance more like the Lenape game and not like the Bridgewater game in which BR scored 6 of their 9 runs off of Mason Hill. Batter to lead off the 5th will be Braden Thorpe, 1, 2, and 3 for Kingsway, as they held Rancocas Valley off the board in. Whoa, look out. That one barely cleared the fence, but it's 0-1.
Almost hit the
they're
trainer.
They're looking to keep Rancocas Valley off the board as well after they left the bases loaded.
You can't be up 3-0 with 1 out and the bases loaded and not get a single run out of it. Thought one was a ball. That was a really close one right there.
Count will be 1-1 though to Thorpe, Taylor, and Shields. Popped up, out toward shallow center field, backpedaling.
Valley got
and Valley
caught it.
They're gonna say it's a live ball, and Dan Haverstick's coming out immediately. The umpire signaled it was a live ball, and the runner's gonna go to second. And Haverstick's gonna come out and try to plead his case here. See if he's got some words to say. Yeah, he's going to ask these umpires to talk it over here. Yeah, his case is that Evan Valley made that catch, so he's he's at least gonna ask these umpires to talk about it. He was backpedaling. And he's not. Call's not going to stand, or call will stand.
I don't know about that one right there. It's a close call. You can't really.
Yeah, so tough situation there, but it does put the runner on second base for Kingsway. And if that hit his glove and dropped, that would be scored as an error on Valley then. As the batter is Logan Taylor. Hill, the first pitch. Shows bunt.
Strike.
Couldn't get it there. And it's 0-1. So he tried to make contact with it. Just whiffed on it. 0-1.
Don't think Coach Haverstick's happy about that call at second.
Yeah, now there's going to be some issues here. Haverstick's coming over. I think he gave a warning to the pitcher about a balk because he wiped the ball on his jersey to try to get the dirt out. So this is now back-to-back plays where Haverstick is not happy at all. And he's talking to Joe Rosenberg in the field here. They're just making sure everybody's on the same page, but Mason Hill just put his arms up. He's like, what are we talking about here? So we'll have to see. I'm not sure.
Definitely not on the same page here, especially after the pop-up.
Yeah, so a little bit of tension rising. Dan Haverstick going out to talk to the umpires twice.
You can cut it with the knife right now.
Here's the 1-1. Hill delivers. Now he gets the bunt down. It goes back to the pitcher, looks to third, throws to first. It's high. He gets it away.
Great catch.
But it'll put runners on the corners here for Kingsway as Kyle Shields will be the batter. Hill's hesitation right there cost him that out that time. He looked over to third base. Honestly, in this situation, I mean, if we're talking about game on the line, it's a tie game. Yeah, you throw it to the nearest base or you at least look there. But the hesitation, he didn't throw it to first right away. And if he did, he probably would have gotten Taylor out. But instead, it'll be a bunt single. And Kyle Shields will be the batter here. 2 on, runners on the corners, that is, and nobody out. As Kingsway looking for their first runs since the second.
I don't know if he even would have gotten the out at first. The throw was a bit high. Runner went.
Yeah, throw down to second, not in time. Runner holding at third. So a stolen bag for Taylor. Strike was called on the play. It's 0-1. Hill, the 0-1. Fouled back. And it's now 0-2. So big spot here. 2 strikes, nobody out. If you put the ball in play, you've got everybody on the edge of the grass for RV. Infield is in. Fly ball probably gets a run home on a sac fly, although you'd have to imagine Alvarez has a good arm in right. Same with Bovey in left. That's the 0-2. Jammed. Shallow center with the infield in. This could be trouble. And it drops. It drops in front of Valley. Nobody moves, though, and the bases are loaded, but it never hit anybody's glove, so it's not an error. It's going to be a very odd base hit for Kyle Shields. And the bases are now loaded for A.J. Ward. I think they lost it in the sun or something.
Second straight drop pop-up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, that was a very interesting play there. We were talking about if that ball had gotten into the shallow part of the outfield, you have to decide whether that's Sprague's ball or whether that's Valley or even Celerito's ball. But instead it was nobody's ball. It faded over towards short, and no luck there. As a foul ball on that first pitch is 0-1 to Ward. He's 1 for 2.
Good
Singled in the second inning.
If you get a chopper, you could get to home plate for the force out here if you're Mason Hill.
Now with nobody out, RV in double play depth. Corners in second and short, still at regular depth. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Looked like a fastball from Hill that time. Got him the miss away. And it's now 0-2.
Very unfortunate situation if you're Mason Hill here, but you just got to shake it off here.
No balls, 2 strikes. And nobody out with the bags loaded in a controversial inning. It's a ground ball. Harrison, glove side. He bobbles it. Throw to the plate, but he got him. Got him over at home plate. Harrison able to recover. Great play by the third baseman. It didn't start clean, but it finished clean, as it'll be a 5-2 fielder's choice to deny a run. And with 1 away, Thorpe out at the plate. Taylor to third, Shields to second, and Ward at first.
I thought that ball was foul. Probably picked it up while it was fair.
Well, it's really hard to tell when you're over. I mean, you can see the white lines in the infield, but they don't really pick up well on the camera at all. With the first and third base lines, not really. They're not outlined with dirt or anything. I've seen a couple fields like that where the distance between third and home and first are all grass. My own college, RCSJ, has it in that style, but that also makes it difficult for an umpire to judge whether a batted ball like that is fair or foul. As the 1-0 from Hill, breaking ball, skied, left field. It's out towards center. This time Sprague has it. Runner tags. He fires home. Got him! Double play!
What a play!
Joey Sprague in center field throws him down. And they keep RV down by 3 instead of down by a lot more than that. Joey Sprague.
Got him by a mile.
Great. Well, not a mile, but a couple of steps. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 4-1. Taking a look at this replay here. Here's the play that got RV out of the inning with a pop fly to center field. It didn't look that deep, but it went deeper than you'd expect. Joey Sprague came out, made the catch, and here's the throw to the plate. He got him right on the money. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, this broadcast is brought to you by the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Registration is open until April 30th if you'd like to be a late join to a team. Otherwise, registration for the fall opens in June of 2026. Visit southjerseynaba.com for more information as that ball gets through into center field. That's a base hit on the first pitch for Joey Sprague as, well, he's had a great game. 2 hits already, that play in center field. And he gets his second hit back up the middle to set up RV here in the cleanup spot for Evan Valley. And this will also be big for several reasons, one of whom being that Valley had that error at short, not a very flattering play. He wants to get that back. He wants to shake that off. He really wants to put himself in a better position here, and he can do so by getting a base hit.
Not to mention he has a hitting slump too, so just shaking it off in hitting and batting as well.
1 ball, no strikes. RV, if they fall today, would be 6-3. They go into a huge Olympic American battle on Wednesday versus Shawnee, and then Thursday versus Camden Catholic. They take the weekend off. Then they'll go to Cherry Hill West on the 28th. We'll be there for that game. But for what it's worth, their next 3 games after today will all be on the road. And then they'll be home versus Eastern on April the 30th. Here's the 2-0. That one is low. 3 balls, no strikes.
Key detail for Eastern. Eastern mercy ruled them last time they played. Let's see if RV can bounce back against them on the 30th at home.
Yeah, they lost that game 13-3 to the Vikings under Rob Christ. Here's the 3-0. Inside. Ball 4. Looked like that almost grazed him for a second, but it doesn't matter. It was on a 3-0, and now Ashton Ford is going to ask to talk to his pitcher, A.J. Amos, who did so well in relief. Came in with the bases loaded after Pezzicola had walked 3 and immediately got out of the jam. Was able to get 2 strikeouts to the number 1 and number 2 guys in Jalen Alvarez and Henry Adams. And A.J. Amos now working through his own troubles as he faces the left-hander in Eddie Rominski. In that Eastern game we mentioned, Eastern scored in every inning except the 3rd, 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, and 4 apiece in the 4th and 5th to win. A complete game effort by Will Martin in that game, so that will be the second half of their Olympic American bout on the 30th. That one's away. Now a throw back pick to second. The fielder kind of met the runner at the same position, so really no chance to get him there, but it's worth a shot. And it's 1-0 to Rominski.
Pretty good throw still, nonetheless.
Yeah, Ashton Ford still a great catcher here in the class of 2027, and being able to get that throw down to second. Imagine if it was a runner stealing first, heading to second. You know, that's still a very solid pop time, even though you didn't get him. 1 ball, no strikes, and the pitch. Here comes a bunt. Rominski drops it down. It's fair. Back in front of the catcher. He'll have a play. It's in time. Sacrifice bunt, 2-3. That's out number 1. And it's going to bring up Shaw, the designated hitter, as he's going to try to knock in at least 1 run, maybe 2, to try to cut down on this deficit. Because that's the best thing Rominski could have done. You know, he's 0 for 2 today, strikeout and a weak grounder. Best thing you can do to help out the team, give yourself up for the better good, and move everybody over. Sprague now to 3rd, Valley to 2nd, and a big spot here for the Red Devils.
Well, he was pretty close to beating that out.
Yeah, he was only a few steps away. I'd give him credit for that, as that one just missed.
I think he was 1 or 2 steps away. Malcolm Harrison on deck. Only 1 out, so this is a great situation for Shaw here. Just needs some contact.
That one gets away, goes to the backstop, and the run will score standing. Now the runner's trailing from 3rd. He's going to back up. But Joey Sprague comes in on the wild pitch. and it's 4-2. So RV gets a run back now as Sprague came in from third, Valley to third. Both runners advanced on the wild pitch, and now A.J. Amos has a run against him. And again, that is directly set up by the sacrifice bunt by Eddie Rominski. That run does not score if he doesn't drop down that bunt and move everybody over. Now that's inside. 2 balls, no strikes. And again, Malcolm Harrison will be on deck, as you mentioned, 1 for 2. Singled in the third, or pardon, in the second. .30. Strike called.
It's on the edge right there. Great strike.
2 balls, 1 strike, pardon. Scoreboard said 3-1. Apologies. Two balls, 1 strike. This one's floated right field. It will get down for a base hit. RBI single, Kevin Shaw. And it's 4-3. It's fundamental hitting. Big approach, not a big swing, not a flashy swing. It's enough to get the job done, and that's exactly what he wanted. It's exactly what he asked for. And A.J. Amos now gives up 2 runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning as it's now 4-3. And Bill Alvaro is going to come out and talk to him. Whether or not he's going to pull him is a different story. We did mention that Rakan was warming up in the pen down the left field line. There are 2 makeshift mounds, but Kingsway will pull the plug early, and they will bring in Brody Rakan, the right-hander, to come in place of Amos. So the tying run is on after Matt Shaw picked up the RBI single, and he now will send Malcolm Harrison to the plate as Kingsway gets their 3rd pitcher into the ball game. We'll be right back after the break, 4-3, with Kingsway in front. Brody Rakin, new pitcher for Kingsway. He'll come on with a runner on first and 1 away for the Dragons as they lead it by 1, but RV's got 2 runs back here in the bottom of the 5th.
Rakin, 3.5 ERA, 15 strikeouts, 5 earned runs allowed. As Malcolm Harrison takes the stand.
Harrison 1 for 2. He's got a single in the 2nd inning and a fly ball to center as the first pitch is away, 1-0. Harrison and then Gaskell and
Celerito.
Yeah, Celerito, yeah. It's one of those things
it's
it's a tongue twister every time. But RV battling here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They were down 4-1. Kingsway's only offense in this game has come in the 2nd inning. They had 8 batters, 4 hits, 4 runs. But RV, mostly Henry Adams, has held them at bay. Mason Hill had a scoreless fifth after a bit of a controversial one at that, but they left the bases loaded. That ball pops out of the glove of Ward, but holding steady at the bag at first base is not Kevin Shaw. That is number 16 in Karim Stackhouse.
So usually runs for Gaskell, but Stackhouse, great runner. He can steal second right here, actually.
Well, I don't know if I would do that if you're RV. Even though he's quick, you're more worried about his speed when you put the ball in play. You're not as much worried about stealing an extra base because Ashton Ford, admittedly, is a very strong catcher with a very strong pop time. If he's out at second base, that doesn't really reflect on the team very well at all as a throwback to first, not in time. Stackhouse gets back in standing. Counts 1-2. So Harrison, and then not to mention Gaskell's not in the on-deck circle either. That is number 8, Varon Delval, excuse me. 1-2 from Rakin. That one's fouled back.
Goes into the JV field.
For the umpteenth time, you know.
Yep,
it's 1-2.
Right field, they're going to go get it.
It's 1-2. Kingsway 4, RV 3. Getting back into this game here in East Hampton with 2 runs to rally here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's a 1-2 from the stretch. Rakin misses high. And for RV, this is their last non-conference game until May the 2nd.
Against Haddonfield, the
Yeah,
Dogs.
that's going to be very, very interesting to see how they go versus Haddonfield. The South Jersey Group 2 sectional champions. As this ball skied by Harrison out to left field. It'll stay in the ballpark, and it'll be caught by Austin Schmidt for out number 2. Good swing, just didn't get all of it, and the ball didn't get down either. So that's going to bring up, as we said, the pinch hitter for Gaskell in Varon Delval. Now remember, Gaskell can be re-entered into the game once defensively, so it doesn't exactly mean that his day is done. They're just going for a strategic move here to get Rancocas Valley a little bit better leverage, which certainly no problem in them trying to do that. With the tying run on base in Stackhouse, this ball's jammed, first base side, it'll go out of play. So absolutely, because Gaskell has not been subbed out of the game at any point, he can re-enter. And he probably will, if I had to guess. But, you know, pinch hitter here, trying to spark this RV team, give them a little bit of a different approach.
Both of Gaskell's hits so far this season have been game winners against PVI and Lenape.
But otherwise, though, as we mentioned, he's 2 for 16. So even though he's had 2 game-winning hits, Dan Haverstick going with a different approach here with the junior Delval. Only his second career at bat. Had 1 versus Morristown on Thursday, so it's still not recorded a varsity hit. Now here comes the throw to second. It's offline. Throw missed to the left of the second baseman, and it's a stolen bag for Stackhouse. So proved me a little wrong there. As Stackhouse, he tried to run over at first originally. I thought maybe they would try to do a hit and run to avoid a stolen base fiasco, but now we've got a 3-2 count. Rakin to Delval. Fly ball, right field. It's hit well. Right fielder was playing in, but he'll make the play, and the inning is over. Not without a fight for the Red Devils as they bring back 2 runs on an RBI single by Shaw and a wild pitch. It's anybody's game still. Kingsway now leads by 1 entering the 6th inning. Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Real fun non-conference game going on here between Kingsway and Rancocas Valley. As Mason Hill on for a second inning, gets a big swing and a miss that time. Nate Bott, the batter, 6, 7, and 8 for the Dragons. It's Bott, Schmidt, and Finelli. As Hill worked out of a big jam in the 5th. The bases were loaded after a couple of controversial plays, including a ball that was dropped at short. Dan Haverstick tried to plead that it was a catch, but the umpires did not overturn the call. And instead it loaded the bases, but a fielder's choice at home thrown by Malcolm Harrison and a double play by Joey Sprague got them out of the inning. Looping curveball misses high, 2-1.
Thought that was in there. Interesting. About the fly ball that Valley dropped, the glove, it looks like a catch to me. It hit the ground, and then I think the ball, if he dropped it, that's the case, must have popped out.
Harrison over to third. He struggled to find it, but he brought it in. One away. Harrison was kind of all over the place. He was back over near short, then he countered and went the other way into foul ground and then had to backpedal it. So a tough route to the ball, but he made the catch nonetheless. And it's out number 1 to bring up Austin Schmidt, the left fielder. Hill, first pitch, lined, right field, inner half, base hit. Alvarez picks it up on a high bounce. And that'll be a 1-out base runner for Kingsway.
Crazy is this game probably could have been completely changed if Alvarez didn't dive for that ball in the triple.
Very true, but I think
it was a good idea to dive for it, though.
I mean, I give him props for putting himself on the line and definitely making a big effort. That's certainly something that doesn't go unnoticed. But at the same time, that ball was pretty far from him anyway. So, yeah, he very well could have taken a conservative route and ended up getting to the ball. But that still doesn't mean that the 2 runs from before don't score, because the ball still would have gotten down. It would have been different if, say, he had made the catch, because then it would have been 2 runs instead of 4, and RV at this point would have had the lead. But
fair point.
But the one thing in baseball that I don't like to do too much is talk about hypotheticals, because the one thing that it does is it kind of dilutes the product of what actually happened.
Thing.
Yeah, because
it's like a mesh is what you're trying to say. So like if one thing happens differently, everything happens differently.
Well, first of all, you think of like the butterfly effect, but second of all, in baseball, you can't, hypothetical, in any sport, hypotheticals are just things that did not happen. So as a play-by-play commentator and as a sports journalist, your job is to talk about things that did happen. Things that didn't happen aren't really something that you need to focus too much on. I talk about a lot with people that we cover games with in South Jersey that you can't stick too much on things that you did not see with your own 2 eyes. Yes, you can talk about how things could have been done differently or how this could have been done a certain way, but at the end of the day, what happened, and you can't really turn back the clock in any way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
After the breaking ball, count is looks like 1-2 or 2-1, excuse me. I'm not sure what the umpire put up, but
me neither.
Fly ball doesn't matter. Fly ball, shallow right. Alvarez backpedals, but instead it's Celerito who makes the catch. And that's out number 2.
2.
Yeah, it's out number 2. Okay, even I'm getting confused on all of this. But it'll now be Braden Bell, the number 9 hitter. Would be huge for the Red Devils to get a shutdown inning, a second shutdown inning for Mason Hill. Hill kind of put himself into a jam in the 5th and then ended up getting out of the same jam. So if he can at least finish what he started here in the 6th, that would set up a strong rally here for the Red Devils. Because Bott popped out to third. Schmidt had the base hit. And then Finelli popped out to second base. Bell has put the ball in play twice, had a fielder's choice in the 2nd. That brought home the 2nd run. And then a fly ball to straightaway center to end the 4th. Strike called. Wonderful pitch from Hill on the outside half. And it's 2-1.
Interesting. Home plate umpire is very strict on high pitches. When he just called that, I thought it was a bit outside. Interesting. I'm fascinated.
There's a 2-1 fouled back.
Oh,
look out! Almost.
Look out, Miss Am.
It's almost hit somebody in the golf cart. It's 2-2.
Athletic trainer in the golf cart.
Kind of sets up a paradox if the trainer needs a trainer, but
there is
2 balls.
Not another trainer there, so
you don't have a backup trainer.
Hopefully not.
Here we go. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Hill looking to keep this at a 1-run game. Breaking ball outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes for the Red Devils in the bottom of the 6th. Down by 1. They'll bat 9-1-2. Celerito, Alvarez, and Adams.
Probably the best case scenario for RV.
3-2 is high. Ball 4. So he came back. Bell drew the walk, and now 2 runners are on here for Braden Thorpe, who had the 2-run triple in the 2nd inning. He's going to try to get this game back in Kingsway's control before it can slip any further. He's reached base twice. This is his 4th at-bat of the game. Hill looks back. First pitch? No, he'll step off.
Almost a balk.
Well, not really, because he didn't step towards the mound. He immediately stepped back, so not really anything that would have constituted a balk. Here's the first pitch, though. Right down the pipe for a strike. You can't ask for anything better than that, especially after giving up that walk. A first pitch strike brings so much confidence back to you, where you're now allowed to really control this at bat, and if you get another strike, you've got even more control over the at bat. So you really just have to find your balances, find what works best for you to get out of this jam. That one does miss high, though, and it's 1-1. I think that, looking at where the pitch went, that looked like a sinker that didn't sink. He wanted to put that one high and then get a little bit of sinking action to meet him in the middle, but he just couldn't get it there. Hill, the 1-1. That one's high with the wind picking up a little bit. It's 2-1. And Haverstick asked his catcher, Aiden Gaskell, who did return to the game, to talk to Hill. And the other dugout, Kingsway, told their guys, let's get a little bit more energy, which is something that I was going to comment on, is that neither dugout in this game has been all that loud. You know, sometimes I'm used to games where the dugouts are deafeningly loud when their teams are at bat and they're always showing up for their guys, but it felt like it hasn't been a lot of that today. It's been pretty ho-hum.
Well, my question for you is, how loud do you think
Here's a ground ball out to second base. He'll go to second, and he'll get the out there to retire the side. So we'll talk about that when we return. RV's got a chance to take the lead if they get 2 runs home, because they've got 9-1-2 coming up. Celerito, Alvarez, and Adams. After the break, it's 4-3 Kingsway. Welcome back. Bottom of the 6th inning here for Rancocas Valley. They will face Brody Rakin, the sophomore. He came in mid-inning last frame. As the first batter will be Cole Celerito. Puts it in play on the first pitch, but it is foul. Got jammed. Celerito, the second baseman. The senior, as a part of an 11-player senior class for RV. He's batting 182, 2 for 11. Both of his hits came in that 15-3 burst over Hopewell Valley back on April the 11th. And stepping off is Rakin. It'll be again Celerito, Alvarez, and Adams. Alvarez and Adams were both retired with A.J. Amos in the 5th. In the 4th inning when Pezzicola came out of the game. So Pezzicola had 3 1/3. A.J. Amos finished off the 4th and got into the 5th before RV's comeback pulled him. Now this one's foul over towards the right side. And it's 1-2.
1-2?
Looks like it on the scoreboard. Unless I'm wrong. Which very well could be possible as well, but
Everyone makes mistakes.
here's the 1-2.
Inside.
So Celerito reached on a walk in that 4th inning, in which RV scored 2 runs. Well, actually, they scored 2 in the 5th. And a ground ball. Fair to second. Taylor to first. Thorpe, rather, to first. It's in time. 1 down. And it'll be Alvarez. Alvarez 1 for 3. A strikeout, ground out, and a double. That came in the 3rd inning. Alvarez to tying run after 2 runs came back for the Red Devils. This ball skied, left field line.
It's going to go out.
Got to imagine there are a lot of lost baseballs in those woods over to the left and out in the outfield. You know, even when
they've lost one yet this season, but I'm sure they will.
I mean, maybe those trees aren't as deep as I thought they were. That one is outside, 1-1.
Well, you did make an emphasis that there was a lot of, trees around here. I think on the JV field they get lost a lot.
Oh, yeah, probably, because they're also JV fields, so it's baseballs get valued a little bit less. I thought I heard a clip there. Well, he's not really contesting it. He's not really contesting it, so he's going to stay in the box. It's 2-1. It also, I'm not sure what that could have hit. It also could have skipped off the dirt, but he threw it behind him. Breaking ball just had a little bit too much break on it.
It must have hit the glove.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but here's a ground ball. First base side, that is fair. And he got him. 3 unassisted. Ward picks that one up, and that's out number 2. So a huge play to put that ball in play, but force the weak contact, and the batter will be Adams. So he's going to try to, he's not really helping his own cause anymore, but as we said, we mentioned from Coach Haverstick that he was going to stay in the field, and on the first pitch, it goes right to Bell. Throw to first is in time with a great stretch by A.J. Ward, and the inning is over. Great 6th inning from Brody Rakin, who holds RV at bay and sends us to the 7th inning in a 1-run game. Kingsway 4, RV 3. Top of the 7th inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Last swings for Kingsway in the top of the 7th. Well, maybe the last swings. We don't really know for sure, but it'll be a 4-3 ball game. Let's run you through it. A quick first had no runs. Kingsway scored all of their runs to this point in the second inning. They had 8 batters, an RBI single by Christian Finelli, a fielder's choice by Braden Bell, and a 2-run triple by Braden Thorpe. They've had radio silence since. RV got 1 run in the bottom of the 3rd, and then they got on the board again in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 runs. This one skied left field. Going over is Bove, excuse me, and he'll make the catch. Nice. For out number 1. Taylor gets the first out, and the batter will be Shields. It was Adams, so they did make that change when Adams came out. It came out. Henry Adams now the left fielder.
So Shaw is still a DH.
Yeah, that would make sense because again, when Shaw was hit for, or no, Shaw wasn't hit for. It was Gaskell that was hit for. It was Del Val that came in for him. Strike called on a looping curveball from Hill. But Adams, the starter in this game, got pulled after 4. Hill has been the pitcher ever since, looking for 3 innings out of the pen.
Goes out.
Yeah, wavered on that one out of play, and it's 0-2. In the bottom of the 7th for RV, they will bat 3, 4, and 5 as Kingsway shut them down in the 6th with a clean frame. With a game that started about 15 minutes late this afternoon, with Kingsway arriving late. That one goes foul. Just got a check swing that time, but was barely able to make contact. Honestly, if you're Kyle Shields in that situation, you're lucky that that ball went foul because you're intending to go, but then you stop. If you put that ball in play, that's a pretty easy ground ball out right there on the check swing. Gets that one rolled over to second. Cilarito is there, and that's out number 2.
Quick outs from Mason Hill right now.
The batter will be A.J. Ward. Ward has reached base twice.
This is an outing that Mason Hill definitely needed, in my opinion. He had a bad game against Raritan, but he's definitely gotten back on track now. He's definitely heating up right now.
First pitch. Strike outside corner. Should note, though, it is Bridgewater Raritan, not Raritan High School. The Rockets, though. I do like the Raritan Rockets, but Bridgewater Raritan has a strike called. They're kind of South Jersey's honorary team, even though they're up in Somerset County. They've played Clearview, EHT, and RV this year. They also played Cherokee and Lawrence. Here's the 0-2. Popped up back behind us and out of play, but that also is in part because Max Newell, the head coach who's been there for a long time, is from Delran and doesn't even live in Bridgewater. He makes the commute up to Somerset County as the 0-2 is high.
Delran's not that far from here.
But it's certainly far from Bridgewater High School is what I'm saying, as it's 1-2. But 3, 4, and 5.
I think it's about 50 minutes to Somerset right now. You got to take the turnpike up.
It's 2-2. It's Sprague, Valley, and Raminsky. Ashton Ford in the on-deck circle still has his catcher's gear on in case he doesn't have to bat. If he does, Kingsway might have to wait an extra second for him to get that gear back on. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mason Hill looking for 3 shutout innings out of the pen. Here's the 2-2. Weak grounder foul. Looks like that got a piece of Ward there. He had a single in the second inning. Struck out in the 3rd. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. And both of these teams trying to preserve their winning streaks. RV has won their last 5 straight. Kingsway has won their last 6 straight. Just missed.
Gaskell was walking up as if it was strike 3.
Yeah, he was about ready to walk back to the dugout that time, but no can do. Cleanup man, Ward. Not a lot to clean up on the bases, but the 3-2 is lined. Left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. It'll go to Adams, who picks it up on 2 bounces, and that's a 2-out single for A.J. Ward as he'll trail off the bag. His first base coach will meet him there. And with the sun right in front of us.
Definitely brighter than second inning or the first inning.
I'm just glad it's not showering. We've had some we've had some very weird weather today. The scattered showers, the scattered sunlight, but now it seems like all those rain clouds are behind us, quite literally. And we've now got Ashton Ford as that one's low and out, 1-0. So Hill.
Mr. Haverstick signaling to Evan Valley at short.
That one skied out towards center field, straight away for Sprague. He'll get under it and he'll make the catch. Side retired. 3 scoreless frames out of the pen for Mason Hill. And now the last potential swings for Rancocas Valley here in the bottom of the 7th inning from the Rancocas Valley Sports Complex. 4-3, Kingsway. Bottom of the 7th inning, Joey Sprague leads us off for Rancocas Valley. Brody Rakin, the sophomore, still in the game. As here on this Monday afternoon, non-conference play, I'm Dan Wilkins here with Rock Roberson. 3, 4, and 5 for Rancocas Valley. A game that has been very interesting, to say the least. I mean, it hasn't been, anything to knock your socks off, but it's just been interesting, to say the least. 4 runs for Kingsway in the 2nd inning. And Rancocas Valley with one in the 3rd. And 2 in the 5th. And kind of a shocker in the 6th inning because they went down in order. But Brody Rakin is going to be looking for a 7-out save in this game. As there's a ground ball. Sprague out to second, fields the hop, and Ward with a great stretch over at first. He gets the out, and there's one away. So Kingsway would win their 7th straight with the win if they hold on here, going into a road game versus Williamstown on Wednesday, the same team that they beat on Saturday in Williamstown. And then they'll play Bishop Eustis on Saturday the 25th in a very much a marquee game down at Margate. This one's popped up the other way. This one could go foul, but Ward's going over. He can't get it, but it is foul. And that's one thing that RV's kind of holding their breath there as they avoid what would have been out number 2 otherwise. And Evan Valley looking to make some noise, down by 2. Valley has reached base twice, a walk and a fielder's choice, as that one is up and in, 1-1. It'll be Valley and then Rominski, the first baseman, who's had some good plays defensively as well, although he has not recorded a hit. He did set up that sacrifice bunt, though, that scored the second run. Oh, that hit him. That might have hit him twice. I think it hit him in the elbow and then it hit him in the leg. No matter how many times you get hit, you only get one base, and that'll be a one-out base runner for the Red Devils, the tying run, as Eddie Rominski will be the batter here. You wonder how long the leash is going to be for Bill Alvaro. One thing, this is a non-conference game. Both of these teams are top 5 in South Jersey Group 4 power points. Rancocas Valley right now is the 5 seed. Meanwhile, for Kingsway, you're trying to keep a winning streak on the line. So you don't really want to punt on this game, but you also are probably a little bit worried about your pitching usage. You know, you beat Pennsville pretty handily on Saturday. Then you beat Williamstown 3-1. That's still 12 innings of baseball that you blew through on Saturday, to come back and play another team that's pretty far away from you on Monday. This one's grounded. Out to first. Ward has it. This could be 2. Pitcher goes to cover, and it's wide. Goes down the first base line. It hits off the fence. Rominski holds there. They're going to go back to first, and they're going to say he's safe. But I think that's the right call because Rominski didn't make a motion towards second. He turned to the right instead of to the left. And I don't think Bill Alvaro is arguing it either. He's staying at the top step of the dugout. It is out number 2. No, I don't think that should have been an out because if Rominski had turned left,
I think he
if Rominski had turned left, that would have indicated that he would have made a motion towards second base, and therefore he would have had to touch the bag. But because he made a motion to the right, he wasn't angling himself towards second base. That's been a call that's been at the point of contention for a few plays, that is. But the first pitch misses to Shaw as Malcolm Harrison is in the on-deck circle. Here's the 1-0. No, excuse me. This is Karim Stackhouse batting here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, we were a bit confused. I haven't seen
this will be interesting.
bat.
For Stackhouse, this is his first at-bat. He's had 5 runs scored as a runner. This is his first at-bat, and it comes with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Now a ground ball to third. Bell is there, and the throw to first is...
Full split.
No, he's safe.
Wow.
They're going to say Ward lost control of the bag. He did not hold on to the bag. He got pulled off, and Karim Stackhouse, in his first career plate appearance, is going to reach. And here's Malcolm Harrison. If RV wins this game, that could cause some controversy, but Bill Alvaro is choosing not to argue this. And he's not asking the umpires to talk it over. Valley is now at second. Valley was out on the fielder's choice. Rominski now at second. And the batter is Malcolm Harrison. With the sun beaming down on a brisk Monday afternoon. That one is high. 1-0 to Harrison. Harrison 1 for 3, singled back in the 2nd inning. Ground ball foul, 1-1 over towards Haverstick. We mentioned that RV has 2 more games this week. They'll have their Olympic American Division rival in Shawnee on Wednesday, and then Camden Catholic on Thursday. We'll see RV again on Wednesday, the 28th of April versus Cherry Hill West at Tom Trotman Field. Rakin, the 1-1. Outside and a little low, 2-1. So Stackhouse, I am going to score it as an E3 because he pulled himself off the bag, but that really could go either way as there's a swing and a miss. Maybe he foul-tipped it, but it's 2-2. No time for questions, only for answers.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering how aggressive Harrison was going to be here. That was a big swing.
We'll see if he's got one more in him. 2-2, 2 outs. Rakin delivers. Foul tipped, It got a big piece of Ashton Ford. Umpire's giving him time. He got nicked pretty badly. I think he got hit right in his thigh. They're going to give him a little bit of time here. Count's still 2-2. But he's still on both knees. Umpires clearing the plate to give him a little bit more time. Always a good gesture from our home plate umpire, George Sanders. Joe Rosenberg in the field. But a fun game here at East Hampton. Kingsway got out early, and now RV has been trying since the second inning to claw back. Could they make one last swipe, or will Brody Rakin have a 7-out save, in his future? The 2-2. Fly ball, right center field. Coming in and making the catch is the right fielder, and the ball game is over. Kingsway hangs on for a 4-3 win as Kyle Shields makes the play in right. It was a straightaway fly ball, and the Dragons have now won their 7th straight as the Red Devils' winning streak is snapped by a final score of 4-3 in non-conference play. This was a game where Kingsway set the tone early, and given how RV's comeback gene was, they did show that tonight. They were down 4-0, got 3 of those runs back, and they even got multiple base runners on, but instead they leave 2 of them on in the final tonight. As Kingsway, they're definitely going to be feeling great after this one because they were able to hold on. They didn't use too much of their pitching. They only used 3 arms, and all of them were pretty solid tonight.
Yeah, definitely. What a game by Rakin. 7-out save. He got out of multiple jams in that save. And like you said, Kingsway's arms are saved for Williamstown. I'm wondering what they're going to do for that game specifically. But win streaks, they have to be snapped. Both of these teams were really hot going into the game.
Yeah, and for Rancocas Valley, this is not a loss that you can really hold your head too lowly on because it was a 4-3 game. You battled one of the best teams in South Jersey pretty unanimously, a top 10, maybe even top 5 team in South Jersey. You battled them to the very end. You put 2 base runners on. It was just an unlucky fly ball that got them out of the game. But when you're going into Shawnee on Wednesday, this will be the first of 2 times they play the Renegades. I think that RV's going to be able to bounce back. They're going to have a lot of their pitchers available. They only used 2 pitchers today in Henry Adams and then Mason Hill, who got 3 shutout innings out of the pen. That's certainly nothing to scoff at, as RV, even though they fall to 6-3 today, that 5-game winning streak, that certainly helped them a lot, and it will continue to help them here in South Jersey Group 4. One of the things that I'll say is that the last time these 2 teams played, Kingsway won 14-4. That is way different than it was today. 4-3 with Kingsway out in front. But at the same time, last year when these 2 teams met, same day, different year, RV was 6-5. They had been mercy ruled by Lenape, Cherokee, and Morristown. Now, this season, they beat all 3. So a lot can change from one year to another, and just one loss, especially a loss like this, is still a loss that you can wear with a little bit of a heart on your sleeve.
Yes, and RV is going to probably be coming into this game with momentum even after the loss. I think they're going to start Chase Logue on Wednesday. And as we've talked about, 1.4 ERA, he's had a great year. You didn't use much arms. So if you're RV, you can't put your head down. If you're Kingsway, this is a big, great win. And I think both of these teams are going to be perfectly fine, no matter the result.
Well, that'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Time of game, 2 hours, 35 minutes. The win goes to, Miles Pezzicola. The loss will be charged to Henry Adams, and the save, a 7-out save, goes to Brody Rakin, the sophomore. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Karsten Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti. My color commentator, Rock Roberson. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow from Deptford Township for junior college softball between Bergen Community College and Rowan College of South Jersey. Final score tonight, Kingsway 4,